What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review for this week's episode of Sword Art Online Alicization, War of the Underworld. Holy fuck! I have to start by saying this. No hyperbole when I say this, man. I legit fucking mean this. This is the greatest episode of SAO, period. Like, I don't mean just in terms of Alicization. I mean in all of SAO. Season 1, Season 2, GGO, Alternative GGO, all of SAO. This is the best episode ever. This is the greatest episode of SAO. Like, Gabriel as a villain is fucking amazing. He is the... I almost don't even want to put him in that kind of category, but he is the Yoshikage Kira of SAO. Like, I know some of y'all might be going to think I'm stretching along when I'm saying when I'm comparing him to someone as great as Kira, but yo, he's almost as interesting as Kira, or just about. Like, I don't think he's as good as Kira, because Kira was such an amazing villain. But this guy, I would say he's about as interesting and compelling as he is. He's so badass. I mean, he also kind of looks like him too, so it's just kind of funny. But he is such an interesting character. His backstory is quite interesting. The voice acting here was great. The facial expressions, like the overall art animation, was fucking was top notch shit, guys. It was some top notch stuff. And this was just such great, and like the man is genuinely over. Like Reki has outdone him. Reki Kawahara, you guys know, of course, the writer for Sword Art Online. The man has genuinely outdone himself with this villain. Like, I've always said, you know, you can definitely see him. He's improving a lot with this arc. You can see a lot with Gabriel. Like SCO's had some pretty good villains. Like, you know, I really dug the Administrator. She was great. I actually liked Death Gun. I thought Death Gun was really cool. I liked, you know, Akihiko Kaiba. I thought he was pretty good. But like my favorites was probably like the Administrator and Death Gun. I love those two. And you know, Suko was Suko. But this guy here, yo, like, has Reki been reading some JoJo or something? Because, man, I swear this is legit been. This has been so good. Like, this episode, yo, and this episode, like, I also say this before. I said this in the first episode with my review for the first episode of S. And you guys might be wondering, hey, Glenn, where the hell is Hiroaka? Hiroaka actually got delayed this week, so we'll be back next week because of the Rugby World Cup. Why they're delaying an episode of Hiroaka for the fucking Rugby World Cup? I don't know. Is Japan even that big into rugby? Is it because they're scared for the ratings? Like, why is the game delayed because of fucking rugby? But whatever the case may be, Hiroaka is going to be. We'll be back next week. But back to where I was saying. This episode legit felt like 5 minutes. Like, I remember when credits rolled, I was like, what? It's over? I thought, because it legit felt like 5 minutes, guys. It felt like. I mean, I said this with the first episode. I gotta say it here. Like, this episode felt like 5 minutes, guys. This episode went by really quick, which is always a good thing. When you got an episode that feels like it's all gone 5 minutes, yo, that's always a good sign. But yeah, man, like, Gabriel, man, yo, like, and this dude's backstory is so intriguing. I just hope to God Reki doesn't ruin it. Reki, he is over. You have done it. You have given us probably your best villain. For the love of God, don't have him rape Alice. For the love of Christ. Please, Reki, please. I am so sick and tired of him using rape to get his villains over. Especially when they're almost always over. You know, like those rich kids in Season 3. I know I praised that because it was like the best rape scene he's done, but at the same time, like, come on, man. Stop using rape all the goddamn time to get your villains over. But enough of me rambling. Let's just jump right into the episode and let's just discuss this shit, because, oh my god, there's a lot to unpack here. So we start this episode off. We got this little flashback of Gabriel, who, I mentioned it before, but I really noticed it now. He looks a lot like Kira. At the very least, he has the exact same hairstyle as Kira, you know. Blonde hair slicked back, but like there's these two like threads of hair at the front that just kind of lay there. It's very much a Kira hairstyle. I guess so. It looks like we have the ponytail, but then we have like the the side pony. I don't know what the hairstyle is, but whatever it is where the woman has like their hair pretty much, you know, like in a ponytail almost, but it has it like right over their shoulder in her view. You know, that moms usually have. It's always the hairstyle of death, you know, because everyone who has this hair always ends up dying. This hairstyle, I guess we could call it, the goat hairstyle. You will be the greatest villain in your series if you have this hairstyle and a blonde hair, because it's added with Kira, and this guy has it too, and they're both the greatest villains at least I think for so far for JoJo and SAO. Especially JoJo. Now, granted, I haven't seen all of JoJo. You know, I'm watching part 5 right now on Tonight, which is tonight. Can't wait for Watch Toonami tonight. We have One Punch Man, Demon Slayer. It's gonna be hype. I don't like how JoJo's at 2:30 though. I don't like that because I wanted to watch it live with y'all peeps on Twitter. But hey, I'll have to watch it tomorrow morning when I wake up. Anyway, back to SAO. Back to SAO. So the dude's in there. He has like he's holding like this little glass stand, whatever you want to call it, of these butterflies, these dead butterflies, or whatever. And his father says, he says, Gabe, unlike humans, insects don't have brains. And Gabriel's like, wait, then how do they think? And he says that the nerves throughout their body pretty much operate as a brain. That's why if you cut an insect's head off, they can survive for a while. And then, of course, like any psychopath, he tests this on animals, like we know there's a lot, but I forget the exact term. The exact term my criminal justice teacher told me about, like, what was like the triad or something, like the 3 M's or something, about how you know someone's a serial killer. One of them is cruelty to animals. And of course, this dude literally grabs like this praying mantis and is like, so if they don't have, so he's like, he repeats what his father said about they don't have brains, so that they don't need their heads to survive, or at least they can survive without their heads for a while. So then he goes in there, pinches his fingers are pressed up against both sides of Mantis' head, starts to press against it to like legit crush its skull, and you could hear it crack for a little bit. I'm like, oh god, are we about to see him crush his teeth, and like Mantis blood spews on his face, you know? But nah, right after like we hear that first like crack, one of his friends calls it, and it's Elise or Alicia. Excuse me, Alicia. I thought it was Elise for a second, but this ain't Shadow the Hedgehog. It's Alicia, who, of course, you can tell has a very similar sounding name to Alice. That might probably come in later in Beyond season. So she comes in there and be like, "Hey, Gabe, how are you?" She's kind of cute though. She's a cute little girl. Anyway, so she comes in there, and she's like, "Oh, hey, Gabe, let's play." And it's like, okay, next scene, she's reading fucking Alice in Wonderland. I'm like, is this your idea of playing? Reading a novel? So anyway, I don't think it was Alice in Wonderland, but it was like Alice's Adventure, so it's some book within the Wonderland universe. So whatever. So she's reading that, and the dude thinks to himself, so about where is that humans need their brain to survive. So where is the soul? And I like the way Reki talks about where the soul is located. Now I'm sure some of y'all know. I'm sure it's not as articulate, or I guess as, I don't know the exact word that sounds really pretentious, but to make it sound like something that and like an anime that goes into like this kind of subject, the more thought-provoking questions, like something like Serial Experiments Lane, not Steins Gate. Well, Steins Gate Steins Gate was pretty interesting, but like like Neon Genesis Evangelion, Nier Automata, they have like those really thought-provoking questions that make people do like 20-minute long theories of it, where it's probably not as articulate as the way Reki writes it, but Reki mentions that, or at least Gabe, but I mean like how Reki writes it. He says that that her soul, he's like, that, but if you don't remember, where's the soul? Where could the soul be? He says that's probably in her skull, because that's where her brain is, and the brain does everything. You need the brain to survive. So, which is definitely something very an interesting point of view to see this from, because when most of us think of the soul, we always think it's kind of like more, if you like see any of those charts for like chakra, Nen, all like those kind of like Buddhist, yoga, that kind of stuff, those spiritual kind of things about like yoga or whatever that go into more spiritual stuff about the mind, the body being one, all that stuff, all that like Nen, like that meditating shit. You've always probably seen that the soul's always right in the middle of the body. But Reki says that it's probably, if we do have a soul, it's probably up here in our heads, in our brain. Because, of course, we need our brain to survive. We need the brain to survive. The brain means everything. If we lose our brain, we're dead. Like in the Matrix. The body cannot live without the mind. So, I mentioned that probably that underneath her skull, underneath her skin, underneath her brain matter is her soul. So, from there, we head over back to where we left off last week, where Gabriel is logging into the account, and you see this girl coming down and he reaches his hand. Now, before we didn't know this girl, but after this first part of the episode, we know that there's obviously Alicia. So then we go from there. Episode plays out as we saw last week with him, awaking. He's now the emperor, or the emperor of the Dark Territory, and you got Vasago being like, "Is that you, bro?" He's like, "Vasago, is that you?" He's like, "Yeah, man, that's me." So From there, he goes over there and this guy like gets off from his throne, looks over out the window outside, and says, "So these are all artificial floodlights. Does that mean that these are all humans? Excuse me, with brains of their own? Do they all have their own brains?" And so from there we got the OP playing, which I love it. And one thing that kind of sucked because I was hoping, I mentioned in my review last week, I was like, oh yeah, we're going to see Austin this week. We're going to see Austin in the offense. Austin was nowhere to be seen in this episode. This episode was completely focused on Gabriel and the Dark Territory as a whole, especially Gabriel's backstory. So, yeah, next week I guess we'll see Alice, or not Alice, Austin in her outfit. Please, come on, let me see it. I've seen pictures of it from light novel covers in the OP and it looks so good. I want a full body shot of it. Ugh. So anyway, enough me gushing about Austin. From there, we head over to like all these different factions within the Dark Territory. They're all coming over to the Emperor's place. See goblins, other goblins, orcs that look like wolves for some reason. There's also giants, etc., etc., etc. And we also see the guys that are behind the Assassin's Guild, who straight up look like members from Organization 13. They dress like they're members from Organization 13, or the members of Laughing Coffin, whichever is your pick, whichever you prefer. So anyway, we then head over to the throne room, wherever and all the soldiers are lined up, and Gabriel's just sitting there on his throne, ready to give a speech. And some of the members of some of the other like factions start to just like we all see the leader of the Dark Mages. Damn, that bitch fine! Like, oh Lord, I'm like, yo, you trying to make me feel no November on the second day? Like, yo, you fine, she fine, like she's legit fucking hot, man. Like, whoo, Lord have mercy. Anyway, so Victor, the guy that we met up last week, he asked, like, yo, before I hand you to, I have one question. Since when you're back, what is your goal? What do you plan on doing since you're back? Which I guess that means that he was the ruler of the Dark Territory while the Emperor was gone. Until now, obviously, he says, blood and terror, flames and destruction, death and screams. Everyone gasps at his request. And then from there, he gives off the speech. Everyone is shocked. He says that the Western lands are full of the power of the gods who expelled me from heaven. The great gate that protects it was about to crumble even as we speak. I have returned to make my authority known far and wide across the land. The moment that great wall fall, the human empire will belong to the people of darkness. I desire only one thing, the priestess of light who appears at the same time in that land, and nothing else. I hereby grant your permission to kill and seize any other human. The soldiers of the Dark Empire, the time you have long awaited is nigh! And of course you got those really fast scribbly line things that make everything look like holy fucking shit. And everyone's like, yeah, I'm so fucking kill him, fucking move, I'm a fucking move. Everyone's celebrating, all the goblins and shit. They're getting hyped up for battle. So from there, after they got out of the little celebration, we head over back. It's now nighttime at this point, and we're over there at Gabriel and Versicos. Yeah, Versicos, I think his name is. And they're at their place. Dude, he's chilling there, Versogo. He's chilling, drinking some wine. He got some wine. Be like, enjoying that. He mentions how, this is like, and he's like, hey man, mind if we spend the night here? Might as well go outside, get some bitches, and just hit the clubs, go enjoy the nightlife. He's like, nah fam, until the mission's over, then I'll give you a whole night to yourself. He's like, alright, I'm gonna hit the hay. Although before that, forgot to mention a couple things I forgot to mention. Gabriel goes over to the little laptop he has there, communicates to the outside world, communicates with his boys. And he mentions that they just got back from watching them go into the, watching them dive in. So at most, maybe 5-10 minutes have passed, and it's already nighttime the first day. That's crazy. I forget the exact time frame of what happens between the day and the night, between in between what was like the time differences between the real world and Alice and the Underworld. I forget the exact differences in time, but and Verstago mentions how this feels so real, like this wine feels real, and he mentions that, and Gabriel mentions that but that have the opposite effect. If you get cut, it's gonna bleed and hurt like hell, which we know it's true. Remember back in the first part of Alicization, Kirito got stabbed by that goblin. The man was screaming out in pain about how that's like, and he said that was like the most intense pain he's ever felt because it felt like he legit got stabbed. Like I remember, the Underworld is pretty much the Matrix, essentially. So from there, he talks over Alice has some houses got to the sub-control room are doing. He says they're doing nothing, that they probably don't even know that we're even here. He's like, all right, and he mentions that that he also says that he also mentions that if they die, they can't access these super accounts anymore. Next time they come in. Next time they log in will be as grunt. So it's like a one and done kind of thing. You only get one shot or you're fucked. That's essentially what they're working with here. So they gotta make sure they gotta make it count. And he also says that make sure you get Alice, get to the point, and then bring her here, and then lock her out so that we can bring her here and get the light scepter, get the light sphere or whatever to ourselves, light cube. So from there, Vestago, he goes over there, goes to his bed, and then at Gabriel's room, ooh, there's a fine woman waiting for him. That woman being Olympia, wearing some fine lingerie, like, whoo! Lord have mercy, if it wasn't no November, I'd be all over that. So, Olympia wearing some fine lingerie, very much highlighting her assets. Alright, enough of my perviness. So, she's in there wearing lingerie. The dude, Gabriel's like, what the hell are you doing? And he's like, she's like, oh, I'm here to accompany you tonight. Oh, really now? Because it looks like you're going to be doing more than just accompanying him tonight. So, and then he's like, well, who's over? He's like, no, this is just all me. He's like, I see. Lays down in bed, puts his hands behind his head, gets comfortable, ready to take a good old, take some good sleep. She's like, pardon me, sits down, takes down one of her straps, takes down one of her little straps down, and she goes up in her hair, to get it out, to make sure it's all nice and flowing. Don't want that to get stuck while you in bed. And pulls out a fucking dagger and tries to go stab him. And then Gabriel Cat sees this, counters it, now he's right on top of her with his hand on her neck and his thumb about right where her Adam's apple is, that area. She's like right there. Got his thumb pressed against there and has her restrained. And I'm like, I swear to fucking God, Ricky, if you do another goddamn rape scene, I'm a fucking freak. Thankfully, there was no rape this weekend. I swear to God, Ricky. I swear to God. So anyway, she's holding him down, and she's like, why'd you come assassinate me? Whose order? Who paid you? And it's like, and she doesn't say anything. She just says, I came here on my own accord to do the greater good. And she's like, what are you here? And then, he says, who hired you? And, it's like, I'm not doing this on my own. What'd you do? Was it for status? Was it for money? Who hired you? And she says, I am doing this for the greater good. And he also asks, excuse me. She also asks who his superior officer is, or like, her superior officer is. And she doesn't say. She doesn't have one, obviously, covering up for Vichu. So the dude just ends up killing her. Now, the way he does it was kind of weird. Now, I don't know exactly what he did, because we don't really get to see. All we really just see her is just squirming. So he just saw an image where he has his hand right on her neck, right by his thumb, right by her Adam's apple, that kind of area in the middle of the throat, and just pushes down on that area. And I don't know what he does. I think he might have crushed her I'm assuming he crushed her windpipe or made her choke on whatever, but we hear this kind of this crack. And then we see her, in the detail, I gotta give props to A1 Pictures for the detail, the amount of detail they threw in her face, there's so much detail with her eyes, they're dead, she has tears, her hands are clutching the bed sheets. It was trying to string tight, and the animation, I gotta mention, was also great here. But definitely the art. The art here looked fantastic, so I gotta give my props to A1 Pictures for that. And then, he's like, this is just like that day. And then we see this massive sea of trees, this hall of trees leading to this area surrounded in like kind of like a circular sphere, like that's surrounded by trees. And we see it's Gabriel just finished killing Alicia. He legit killed his best friend. Now, how it did, I think he like drive like a screwdriver into her ear, a knife, some kind of sharp object into her ear. There's blood coming out of her ear, and she's crying. And she she stands there for a bit, but then she starts crying, and then that's when she finally dies. She falls on the ground. He grabs her before she does it, and he's like, oh. And then her soul legit leaves her head and goes inside his head. And then he can see her soul, what she has seen, and it was quite the phenomenon for him. He said, this is back when he was a kid, so he's like, I want to see experiences again. I want to see, and then he said, and then her soul leaves her body, Lipia's soul leaves her body, and he sucks it in. And then the detail on this man's face was absolutely crazy. Like, yes, finally! I tried this on so many women before, and yet how is it impossible? Is it through? It has to be something through the SAO. I forget exactly what he said because I was just like so. Like enthralled by his facial expressions, like the detail on his face, and the voice in here was superb, by the way, as well. It was great. And the dude is just sitting there like, yes, I have finally done. Who cares how I did, but it's done. I have finally reached this phenomenon again. and for the perfect light cube will be. For the perfect light cube or fluck like whatever the hell I said was like would be Alice, your soul will be so sweet. He said this completely in Japanese this time, no English this time, which says that, and then from there we head over back to the throne room. Everyone's ready there. They're about to go in there, and so then the dude says, and they were about to jump in, and he says, oh, by the way, some assassin tried to kill me last night in my bed. And he's like, look, I'm not going to condemn whoever did it. You should want to kill me. You should want to use your power to gain more power. But if you do so, you will pay the appropriate price if you fail. Like this. He signals for someone to come in, and this woman comes in there with like this cube-like shape, with this cube shape. There's a little cloth or whatever on top of it. And I'm like, oh, it's her decapitated head. It has to be her decapitated head. We see it. She takes off the little cloth, and it's her decapitated head frozen right in the same facial expression we saw when she died. So the dude pretty much just so from what I can guess, the dude killed her, and then a little bit after he was probably done, probably jerking off to this experience he just had after sucking in her soul, he cut her head off, froze it while she has the same expression she did last time. The tears are still there. Her entire face is the exact same from when we last saw her right after he killed her. Same expression. Then Vitriu looks down and he has the expression of, I'm about to go fucking Super Saiyan on this motherfucker face, And so from there, he says, and then from there, he charges up and is about to go Super Saiyan, like, yeah! And he pulls out his sword, there's this purple aura around, he's about to go charge in there and kill Gabriel. Then this dude comes, then one of the guys from, like, the assassin comes in there and hits him with, like, this poisonous dart. This dart is going to kill him in, like, 2 minutes. 2 to 3 minutes, because it's like it's even powerful enough to kill like some epic dragon or whatever. So then he's on the ground. He's like, damn it. He's like, Limpia, I'm not gonna let you die. And then we go to the light speed cube, the light cube, and in there we go inside there. The camera kind of moves around and these different cubes, and then we lead to this one Pacific cube, which I'm assuming is Limpia's floodlight. He goes in there, and somehow, I guess it connects with him, and then the dude turns into a fucking tornado with his body still there, like the top part of his torso and above is still there and everything, and he charges right towards the guy. It looked fucking epic, man. The art animation here was fucking fantastic. They charge out there, and then the dude kind of goes into like this, that area that was seen to begin the OP, where he's just kind of flying through there, and then he's like surrounded by this purple aura, and it's like, who is this guy? And he says his soul is both dead and alive. which I'm assuming by the dead party means because he is sucked in the souls of various other people, especially women like Olympia and a few others, because he's killed a lot of people. So I'm assuming that's what that. So I'm assuming that's probably what he means when he says the soul's both alive and dead, and that pretty much right there. He says, and apologies to whoever lost their commander, and whoever's next in line is the commander of that guild, and that's pretty much not complete where the episode ends. That's where the end credits starts. Which at this point I was like, wait, what? Holy shit! It ends already because, like I mentioned before, it felt like it was only 5 minutes. This episode was. So from after the end credits, we get this little post-credit scene with Alice. She goes over there with her dragon Kirito over to the eastern gate. The gate says it says right there like the gate will fall at the end, or whatever. It was something along those lines. So from there, Alice kind of goes, has her dragon go up there above the gate to see what's going on. She sees all these lights around there, and she's like, "Oh shit!" Because the gate is also really starting to crumble at this point. It's about to pretty much go down in a second now, and that's where she leaves, and that is where the episode ends. So, overall, this episode was fucking amazing, man. Like, especially the whole stuff with Gabriel and how we got to introduce and we really started to get to know him. I was shocked when he killed his best friend, when he killed Alicia. I was shocked by that, how he actually legit went that far, and how he's like so infatuated with human souls, and how he wants to suck them up and I guess know their memories. It kind of reminds me of what happens in I want to say it's like Assassin's Creed Unity. You remember when you kill your targets in that game, their life flashes before your eyes, and you get to see everything they went through. It's kind of like something. I think they did that in some of the other Assassin's Creed games as well. And it was just weird, man. It's interesting. I mean, it's weird. It's weird how the dude's like this, man. But it's also so interesting. This guy is definitely a very interesting character, and I will definitely give props to Ricky Kawahara. That man has outdone himself. This guy Gabriel is an amazing villain, man, and I can't wait to see more of him. For the love of God, Ricky, do not ruin this with a rape scene. He is already over. You do not need to do that, man. Please refrain. Okay. So anyway, yeah, man, that was. Wow, man, that arc, man. This episode was so fucking good. I mentioned it before, but I'll say it again. This is the best episode of SAO, period, man. And I can't wait to see what's in store for us next week. So yeah, overall, I'm going to give this episode a 10 out of 10, ladies and gentlemen. So hope y'all enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, flag, and links down in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.